Welcome back to the City Palms podcast. What?
I do that.
Get it.
What you're doing? Was that for real?
Just get it.
Because that throws off everything. Thank you. You didn't even add the thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing.
All right, just start it.
Fucked it. All right, we're starting in 3. Welcome back to the City Palms podcast. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. If you've not done so yet, please follow us on Instagram, City of Palms podcast, where you can see our highlight clips and everything we do. How you doing, Brian? Episode 53.
I'm good, bro. Speaking of Instagram, how about Instagram stories? They're pretty dope, huh?
Oh, I love them.
How do you like to use Instagram stories?
In all ways, I feel. I do it more than I post, bro. I don't even fuck posting. I post on my story.
You think that's helpful?
I don't know. In algorithm terms, probably not. But as far as, I mean, it's like I went to Nashville, dude, and I didn't realize, like, Brie was like, you didn't even post about Nashville. I was like, I didn't. But I was like flooded my story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like, so I didn't even realize that. It's just, yeah, Instagram stories, I feel like kind of changed the game.
What about whenever someone tags you in a story and how easy it is to just like, boop, add to your story, and it like flips, goes to your story, you know what I'm saying? If someone tags King Lombardo 47,
Yeah.
you can then just add it to your story.
Mm-hmm.
Then why do you do it twice? That was my question for you.
Yeah, why do I do it twice?
Because I noticed with Brie posted something, you put it on your story, she put it on her story, like, hey, look, this guy put my post on his story, and then you put that on your story.
Let me say.
Okay.
Let me say. So stories last for 24 hours, as you know.
Uh-huh.
A story on Instagram. So I'll sit on that message when I get that message and it says Brie tagged you in her post because I already reposted it. I'm waiting till I get off work the next day. So that story has about 4 hours left. Then I'm reposting it. So now the eyes can see it again for another 24 hours. More eyes can see it.
Oh.
Likely to go like on 2 days than like would be 1 day. Draws more eyes. So for that's why I reposted Brie's thing twice. And I would keep it going if she didn't repost it. But yeah, like that's why I posted that twice so that like more eyes could see it.
Okay. I thought it might have been like that Snapchat streak thing. How like people would snap each other to like every day to like get that streak up. I thought
but also,
people on IG were just trying to see how far they could go.
But also like for the story algorithm, like as far as like getting you up there, if you are doing that, that's what I told Brie. I was like, repost it and I'll repost it. Like if you're doing that, like even if you'll have like the little ticks because it's just like you and me, like repost, that will most likely be on everyone else's story. Not exactly if like you and me are doing it, but if like, you know, if we're sending something out and everyone else is reposting it on their story, that kicks us up. So like when people that follow us and we're on their algorithm like feed, they go to like view their Instagram stories, we're going to be like one of the top ones rather than like being like all the way down the list.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that answers my question. That was simple. It's hard to keep up with, bro, social media.
It is, yeah. Algorithms are tricky.
Yeah. But that leads me to today's episode. Someone who is very good at keeping up with social media. All right, get over here, Danny. We'll bring in the guest. So, one of our first local legends, watch out for the camera. One of our first local legends we did for this show when we used to do those for the ad segments was a business called Set Life Pro. We have since done things with Set Life Pro, been involved with events that they've done, and really seen how they work around the community. And this has been long awaited, and I will admit we've been kind of sleeping on this because this has been an idea for many months. It's not on One Way TV's level. That's a whole nother thing. Get on the show, One Way TV. What are you doing? But anyways, today we have a guest that's been long awaited, and there's a lot to talk about. I might sit out of the discussion a little bit, but we have Deciymber Jade. She's the founder of Set Life Pro, and she does a whole lot for the community. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Here, I'm going to pass the mic to Danny and let you get it.
I'm good. I can't speak for this guy, but I'm good.
I'm good.
We're good, so that's good. Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll dive right in, dude. I want to know kind of like where Set Life began as far as like is that something that you just like created or was it like you and a friend like got together or is it something that you like came upon and like created, like recruited these people?
There used to be another local blog about the music community, And when they were around, I kind of did behind the scenes stuff with them, and then things happened, they fell through, and I was kind of bummed about it, and I was like, well, that sucks. Like, I kind of was having fun. And then Courtney and Frankie and a couple other people were like, well, why don't you just do it? And then I came up with the name Set Life because I wanted to incorporate the film as well as music.
Oh.
So set, like a film set plus a music set.
Oh, true. So how old were you around that time?
Set Life started in August 2017. So we're like 3 years old.
Dang, nice. And was it always like, has it changed at all? Like, has the motive for it changed, or has it always been to like, has your motive always been to like what it is today? Like, as far as like having the magazine, doing the shows.
I mean, the mission's always been the same. The whole goal of Set Life is to showcase Southwest Florida through the music and arts and create a community that is empowering and inclusive. But the way we've gone about it has definitely developed from just like doing shows in a record shop to putting together micro festivals and a magazine. Those weren't concepts that we thought of in the beginning.
True. Oh yeah. Anything you want to add?
No, you keep going.
All right. So as Set Life came to be a thing, what was like the first event that was like organized where you got together as a team and banged it out?
The first event, I didn't even have a technical team. It was pretty much just like me and whenever Courtney was available to help out. But I teamed up with Casey from the Free Jacks. He puts together showcases, and he kind of was what gave me my in. And we put the show together August 2017 at Rackham.
Wow.
It was a shit show, but...
What happened? What was like the lineup and stuff?
The lineup, I'm probably going to forget somebody, but it was Casey, of course, Dustin Schleyer, like right before he started going around as Simon Says Nothing. Opposite States, who is no longer around. They're a great local band. I think the Kimberleys were on that lineup, too.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, banger on the first lineup.
Yeah, right. For real. So was that before or after like the first set of magazines came out?
The zines I didn't start producing the zines with my current team until I think the first zine came out October of 2018, 2019.
That sounds right.
Last year is 2019. We're in 2020. October 2018.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's still
wow.
pretty new.
So what was like, what was the idea for that? Because I know like we're into skateboarding and like the idea, I mean, that's kind of gone. Like that was a big thing. Like magazines were like a big thing in our day and age, and now it's kind of gone. But there are a couple that are still standing in the skate world, right? Yeah, and they're holding strong because they have that foundation, and because it's like people do at the end of the day, everything's so like digital, but at the end of the day, people do appreciate like holding something in their hand. Is that like what you were feeling like as the reasoning for doing the zines?
I was still kind of trying to figure out my place in the scene because I'm not a musician. I'm not a great host. And I was just like, I don't really know how I fit in. And it started off just doing live interviews at shows, like in the back alley behind the building. And Colin O'Ryan would like peer pressure me all the time. And he'd be like, you should just make a magazine. It'd be so dope. Just do it. And then I finally just like tried, and I was like, I did newspaper in high school. So I was like, well, it's got to be similar to a newspaper. No, it's not. But I mean, my goal with the zines are to make them more like coffee table worthy, not something that you want to throw away in 2 weeks, like a U.S. Weekly. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep them unique, incorporate lots of local content, different artists to do the cover each time, trying to make all of them unique from each other.
Yeah, I'd say you're doing a good job with that.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And I don't know if you can touch on like what goes into the magazines, but they do look so professional. Like I feel like if I woke up yesterday and I was like, I want to start a magazine company, I wouldn't know like what to do as far as like the quality. Like you have like legitimate, like you would see it in like a doctor's office or something. You know, like it's a legit like magazine. And, like the pages feel like waxy and everything. They're like.
I'm still learning how to make things better, but usually the team and I kind of get together and we brainstorm a little bit and figure out different topics we wanted to do and things we want to write about. That's usually like the first step, and then it's a lot of trying to find things that might look pretty in print, that look nice digital, and then putting it all into InDesign. It's like online scrapbooking almost.
True. Is there one writer like behind the whole thing, or?
In the beginning, I had to do a lot of the writing, but also like we're not making a shitload of money off of this yet, so I felt very uncomfortable trying to delegate to people and be like, do this for free. So I was like, if you want to write for the magazine, you can. But now we're to the point where everybody that's on the team is gung-ho dedicated. Like this vision is something they also feel personally connected to, and it's not just my vision anymore.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think pretty much everybody on staff now writes every now and then.
Nice. That's cool. That helps out. And what about editing? Is there one editor-in-chief?
I am the editor-in-chief. Sometimes I get to delegate to a couple staff members when they offer to come do zine workshopping with me. So
nice.
I'm enjoying the delegating part.
How many times do you like proofread it before you finalize it?
I usually send it to about 5 different people, and I ask them to proofread, and then I read it a million times myself, and then as soon as I get it from the printer, I notice 5 typos.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Yep, that's typical. So, first set life team. What does that mean?
The first set life team.
Has it changed? Has it changed at all?
Oh, our team's evolved a lot, yeah, over the last couple of years. In the beginning, it was kind of just a lot of people were like, yeah, I totally want to be a part of that, and not really wanting to put the effort into it. And then me not really knowing how to manage and delegate at the time, I didn't know how to, be like, hey, let's not get drunk before doing an interview at a show because it looks really bad.
True.
And now I know how to, like, have expectations and guidelines and keep everything in writing.
Yeah, man. So, wow. So there's 6 people on it currently, right?
Yep. We might have 2 more members joining very soon. I'm talking to 2 people in the community that have been helping out a lot.
Nice.
So, but yeah,
That's
tentatively 6.
Nice. So getting involved in film. So yeah, we have here a lot of things, dude. You're a lot of random
you're
an award-winning actress, and so first we want to touch on you getting involved in film. Like how did that first all come about?
I did IB in high school, so I was only allowed to have one elective basically, and I always picked TV production, and that's kind of how I realized I wanted to get into something creative. I had no idea it was going to end up being set life, but I was just like, I want to make movies. I want to write scripts. And then...
So wait, sorry. You were doing the high school news? Like, is that what TV? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, well, we were making like short films and stuff too that were just trash. Like,
true.
My first film was 10th grade. The school lunch turned kids into zombie, and Justin Bieber's Baby was the cure.
That sounds awesome. That sounds award-winning too.
No, nobody's ever seen it. I trashed it in the editing room. I was like, no. Oh boy. But it was probably I graduated 2013, 2014, 15. My friend Nick Tortoise hit me up and said he was trying to work on a film to get into the UCF program called The Hunt. And it was kind of like this post-dystopia predator prey kind of concept. And I did special effects makeup and script supervisor for that.
Oh, wow.
I met a lot of like really cool people in the scene around here. And then people started calling me a couple years later and they're like, hey, I need help with makeup. I was like, well, better learn how to do makeup, I guess.
Was your first real passion in the community was film before the music scene or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Film was what I felt at the time. Film was what I had wanted to do for my whole life. And part of me still does, but I also want to do all of the other things that I do.
Wow. So if... wow. Sorry. So your goal, yeah, aside from what you do now, like, your lifelong goal would be, like, is that like Hollywood, or?
It
For, like, an
was
actress?
until I learned that Hollywood was overrated. I never wanted to be an actress. It kind of was just like a friend called me and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll audition. And they were just like, you got the part. I didn't audition though. I'm much more of a behind the scenes kind of person. I really enjoy the special effects makeup part, especially with like true crime, thriller stuff. I like getting to make people look dead on camera.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That's definitely more up my alley. I would like to get into some screenwriting eventually, though.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be cool. Yeah, especially with how much, like, you have going behind the magazine. You have, like, writing down. It sounds like you're a good typer, too, I've heard. Fast with typing. So that's cool.
That's a fact.
106 words a minute.
Jeez. That ain't even right.
You remember Mavis Beacon?
Yeah, Mavis Beacon. That was something else, man.
Killed that shit.
I remember I used to have a cheat. Like, well, I used to want to learn how to type really fast because I saw David Lewis as a kid, like, playing World of Warcraft, and he's like, tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, he's typing words. And then in middle school, I wanted to learn how to type fast. And I remember me and my friend Chris found, like, if you start the module and you just hit the first two letters, like, as fast as you can, one after the other, and then just let it ride out the time, your ending score will be, like, that speed. So it'll be, like, hundreds of words per minute. Did you hear that?
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad that my story was funny. All right, back to what we were talking about.
Kind of hate you though, because I'm pretty sure that's where my anxiety started, was computer class. And I was like, if I can't type well, I'm not going to get a real job when I graduate. And that's why I was like, I got to type good.
And I was just sitting there.
I took it so serious. Every class, I'm just like diligent as fuck until lunchtime.
She's a skill typer.
I feel like I ended up switching out. I don't know what happened. I had that thing for, like, I feel like I didn't do Mavis Beacon that long. I don't know what happened.
You could have switched electives or something.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, a lot more recently, as far as, like, I've come to know set life, I feel like, I didn't know it, like, years ago when you guys were starting out, but it hasn't always been, like, hip-hop shows and stuff like you're doing now, or has it? Like, is that something that's new?
I've always wanted to do kind of a variety. I had done a couple more hip-hop themed shows back in early 2018 probably, with Ronan and a couple friends over at Nice Guys. And we did one hip-hop show at Rackham, but I'm not as familiar with that part of the scene. When I started getting involved in the music scene, I was friends with Flirty and Slim, and they're more of like the rock side of the local scene, and the Electric Mud, and then started hanging out at Howl, and that's how I got involved with all the like punk and metal weirdos. I fuck with all of it though. Like I'm a fan of like every aspect of our scene, all the genres, but just not as close yet with them hip hop boys.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. I mean, with what I know, I mean, the listeners, I don't know if we can touch on it now, but like the Battle of the Bars, like that.
This will be the first time announcing it, so go ahead.
Yeah, like that's crazy, and I just feel with everything else you have, like Southwest Florida Unplugged, like if you keep on doing that, like if that just stays strong for as long as you've been doing it now, if you just maintain doing what you're doing, you're gonna be like the biggest staple in the community, because like those events, I mean, what we're all doing, even our event that's coming up, like everything I feel like we have going on, but especially you guys, because you guys are all over the map, it's just like, dude, it's a staple. It's like we need that, and it's only a matter of time before I feel everyone should see that.
We need all the platforms that we have. It's the only way that the scene's going to actually build into like a big music scene. If we didn't have people like City of Palms podcast, you know, having these sit downs, nobody would know who the fuck I am or who Jay Sane is or Chris. And if it wasn't for Crashland getting dope bands opportunities to play at small local festivals, you know, Love Your Rebellion, all of these people, if we didn't all have our own little niche in the community, like, it wouldn't be shit here.
That's
like,
true.
We need to, like, oversaturate with media content just so people will pay the fuck attention. And
That's facts. Do we want to take a quick ad break?
Let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to find out why they were screaming.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, enjoy the ads in the meantime. We'll be right back for part 2.
Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing by reading this ad. And let me tell you guys a little bit about Anchor. So, like I said, it's a one-stop shop, distributing, you put your podcast on. It couldn't be easier to use. My brother and I, when we started this podcast, we're looking around for a website. Where do we get our podcast up and running? How do we get it? Literally those exact questions. How do we get it on iTunes? How do we get it on Spotify? And I was trying to do that stuff by myself. And that's when I started looking up. And there's other ones you can use like J-Pod and all that. But let me tell you, Anchor, nobody's going to do it as great as Anchor. And most of all, it's free. So that's what you always do, man. That's what you love, is Anchor being free. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Once again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the ads. We've got a listener question that we're going to start part 2 with. And it might be cool, might be a quick answer, might be stupid. We'll see. What is it, Danny? Oh, here we go. Okay. This is a random listener question. It says, oh, this is good. If you could commit any crime and get away with it, what would you choose and why? You can think on it for a second. Because thinking if any crime, does that just mean one time? Okay.
I'm robbing a bank.
That's because if it's just one crime, one and done, like get away with it and leave, you gotta like do some sort of like money thing, like rob a bank.
Or a Brinks truck at that.
Brinks truck?
Because I feel like banks nowadays, what cash do they really have? Do they really have vaults like you see in the movies and everything, you know? Everything's digital. For real? I don't know.
What about you? Like, you'd have to like rob something, because then you could just get all this money. Zero repercussions.
I mean, it makes sense to rob something, but I'm like, is a bank where I'm going to make the most money? Because if I'm going to do one crime and get away with it, it better be a banging crime. Like,
definitely not a store, right? Because stores...
You can rob a supercar. You can rob a Ferrari. Sell it for like...
Oh, that's true. If you stole... But how would you go about... If it was legal for the day, you'd still have to go about committing the crime. So you'd have to like get the keys. Like, you just go in with a gun and like, give me the keys to that Ferrari out there.
Yes.
Yeah, but then selling a stolen car is a second crime.
True, you get one crime.
Yeah, you only get one.
Loophole.
And Brinks truck's not enough money.
Mm-mm. And even how much money do you think they keep in bank safes?
$80K.
You think so?
Maybe.
I think it depends on where the bank is.
Think about it. Some people, that bank if you bank with like Suncoast or SunTrust or whatever, Wells Fargo, I guess whoever, they have these lawyers, you know, and they have to come and be able to take out money if they want, you know, like say you bank and you host David Dobrik, and David Dobrik wants to come out and pull out 15,000 because he's about to hit Vegas. You have to have 15,000 in that bank for people like that to like be able to pull the money that they have out available. So you have to have like that cash.
But don't most bank accounts have like a limit or something that you can withdraw in a day? Like
From an ATM, but
not in the teller booth?
No, you could walk in, and if you have the money in and say, I want my 15,000, I'd raise hell they didn't give me my 15,000.
Really?
I mean, it'd be sketchy if they didn't have your money.
Yeah.
That would be weird. Why wouldn't they have it?
They're like, give us a week. You're like, what are you talking about? I saved up for 2 years to get that 15,000. I need to pull it out to buy a car. Like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, give us a week. Banks, man, I don't trust them.
All right. Well, anyways, getting back on topic. Like that, right? A bank, right? That's our conclusion. A bank.
I guess.
Okay, so back in the day, like earlier Set Life stages, you used to do live interviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
You tried it.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like? Were there difficulties that is the reason you don't do it anymore?
There was a lot of trial and error. I mean, Set Life is a shoestring budget that anything he had up until we recently started selling ads in the last couple zines.
Which is why we're robbing a bank.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's all been like my tip money as a server, which ain't shit. But
Yeah.
so I didn't have the technology to do the quality I really wanted. That was something that bothered me. It was kind of hard to wrap up bands at shows and be like, hey, can we do a quick interview? And then like half the band's like wasted, and then I lose my interviewer, and then I gotta find lighting, and now the next band's playing and they're heavy metal and I can't hear anything. And it was just too much to try to get bands to come before the show. So then we figured written interviews are way easier than video.
True that. Yeah. That's smart.
So then your current projects, I wanted to really elaborate on all the stuff that you currently do as far as events and whatnot that you organize with Set Life. And one of the biggest ones is Rock the Communities.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the main vision behind that project?
Rock the Communities is a monthly benefit market. My friend Brielle that runs Bombshell Botanicals up in St. Pete, she approached me about this idea of doing a market where each month we feature a different nonprofit relevant to the community, raise funds for them and awareness, while also showcasing local business owners, artists, musicians, and just try to show off everything about the community that rocks in one show. Mm-hmm. Once a month, the second Friday in Cape Coral at Rackham, and the third Saturday in St. Pete at Pinellas Aleswork at the moment. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest projects, but that's more of like half of the Set Life team is a part of Rock the Communities team as well. It's like two separate teams that are working on these things.
Mm-hmm.
True. And so I think my favorite that I've been to, honestly, one of my favorite events here, like in Southwest Florida, is the Southwest Florida Unplugged. Just the whole idea behind it, like, super cool. Like, the live music, you're hearing these people, and then you listen to an interview with them, like, after, and it's entertaining, too. It's not just, like, a sit down, like, where are you from? It's, like, interactive and stuff like that. So that was a cool experience, especially just the first one. Like, we just flew back from Nashville, so that was, like, it was surreal to be welcome. Yeah, to be welcome back to Southwest Florida with that, the first one too. It was like, it was really good. So can you touch on that for anyone listening or watching who doesn't know?
Southwest Florida Unplugged is a monthly talk show that's recorded with a live audience at Ollie's Pub. It's kind of an idea that Cody Smith and I had been playing with since about this time last year. but we just didn't really know a venue that suited our vision for it. And then once Ollie's opened last fall, we were very tempted, and then finally I got the guts to ask Sean, and it's gone really well so far. None of the sessions have been posted on the internet yet, but the shows themselves have done really well. We've been able to incorporate local businesses by having them sponsor sessions too. And it entices. So each month there's also like random things from the community you can get. This month you can get a tattoo certificate from Howell or a piece of art from Jesse Jones.
Yeah, it's really dope. And you're so good about with all your events. You can collect like raffle items, things as giveaways, like kind of extra things to add into your event to entice people to come and have fun. And like it is like a whole experience. And one thing that I was gonna want you to touch on is how important like making connections, and like with email, for example, like having a good email and using it regularly as a business, from a business standpoint. Can you like explain how important that is with everything that you do?
Oh, you have to, I mean, you should be super organized with your email too. I mean, 99% of us are on Gmail because it's 2020. So you've got labels right there. Use your labels to your advantage so you're not losing, a potential client in your emails of spam from Spotify. But templates, build yourself a template. Like if you're going to email 50 different businesses trying to get them to collaborate with you or buy an ad, you have really good etiquette in the way you write it, and make a freaking EPK, electronic press kit. Like it just shows off who you are in the simplest and quickest way. So like whether it's a 2-minute video reel if you're in film, or just a quick portfolio like your binder that you have at your tables when you vend, that like it's the quickest way to be like, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm asking from you, without like flooding their shit.
Yeah.
Because it's really annoying when somebody hits you up on all social media platforms instead of just sending you one email.
Yeah, and then also, on that, like that level of professional communication from like between businesses. You as Set Life Pro wanting to put on events for the community, reach out to someone like Sean at Ollie's, and like I feel like that professionalism is what can kind of secure you a spot, like a strong relationship between like the venue and your company, because now like one event goes well, and it's almost just like how you like carry yourself. You know what I mean? Like how you carry yourself and how you go about running your event and communicating with people is going to keep that relationship strong. And like I feel so much potential from somewhere like Ollie's. They just opened up too, right? Just like a handful of months ago.
Well, like places like Ollie's or how even Andy over at Rackham are so great at communicating with me when I do an events, and I am a very like overly communicative person with a lot of certain behind the scenes aspects of shows. And I'm very big on that, and when I have a hard time communicating with like a venue, it makes me less likely to book there. But over communicate, just do it, over communicate, that way there's no issues, conflicts. Nobody can be like, I don't remember being booked, because you have receipts.
Yeah, and then speaking on venues and whatnot, Howell is one that you have a particularly close relationship with because you're employed at Howell. And I was gonna ask how, from your perspective, how has Howell affected the greater community of Southwest Florida music and art?
Andy and Elena have done a great job spending the last 10 years of their business taking it from not just being a tattoo shop, but it is an art gallery and a venue. I mean, they've got comedy nights several times a month. They showcase burlesque performances, sideshow performances every once in a while. We get Tinderbox in town, music from hip hop to doom metal. They've done a great job of being inclusive, and not just to performers, but to people in general. Like they're both so great at, calling you out on your shit, but doing it in a loving way. At least in my experiences with them, like they've helped me grow exponentially, and I see them like genuinely care about people in the community and want all of us to succeed, whether it's at their venue or not. And that's cool because people could be petty, and instead you just want to see everyone do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever thought about starting a YouTube channel?
Oof. I mean, when I was 12, yeah, and the Scary Maze game was cool. I'm sure somebody can find it out there. But for Set Life, we did start off doing a couple videos in the beginning, but I didn't have the quality of technology that I wanted. So then I kind of just stopped doing that for a while. But with Southwest Florida Unplugged, we will be picking back up on YouTube.
You've never thought about starting like a personal vlog though, just to show like everything that you do.
We've kind of talked back and forth about me doing that. Like, I've asked a couple friends what they think, like if I were to do more of like a through my eyes of certain events and things. I think I'm gonna start doing it, but I'm only gonna do it on Instagram.
Like a IGTV thing?
I don't even know if I'm gonna go that far. For now, I just want to do like 1 minute clips, because
Okay.
I mean,
Kind of
nobody.
kind of like what you guys did. Didn't you do like a short little thing with like the trip to St. Pete?
Yeah,
that was cool.
that was my like trial run, and
That
that
was
was
cool.
kind of where I was like, oh, this might be a cool thing to do. Or just watch us like run around town and be a bunch of idiots, but then see that like a cool product did come out of it.
Yeah, that looked fun.
And it is cool to see. It is cool to see the personalities of like the whole team and like everyone involved behind the events, because it makes, like, I try to tell people to come out to the events not only for like what the event offers, but just like the interactions and the connections you make, the friends you make. Like most of us are just a bunch of goofballs, you know what I mean? And like that can be part of the fun too. Is just like being like seeing us all just goofing around, and like Rock the Communities events are so fun. And to anyone who has not been to one, please do, because like seriously, there's such a good time every single time.
Yeah, you're supporting the local economy, whether you're buying drinks at the bar, supporting the food truck that we have there each month, or local artists, even just liking pages on Facebook for bands that perform that night. Like, every aspect of that event is about supporting your community.
Mm-hmm. One thing we ask a lot of the guests is kind of their take on the local scene, like from their perspective, like a hip hop guy, kind of like in their area of the scene, what they think of Southwest Florida art and music as a whole. And like I like to ask different people, especially people who have like kind of a big reach around and like in lots of different facets of the community. So I'd be interested to see what's your, like, if you were to wrap up the Southwest Florida scene in just like a sentence or two, what from your perspective do you see?
A lot of growth and potential. I firmly believe in our community becoming way bigger than it currently is. Like, there's way too much talent in this community, whether it's, the people that are still here locally or the ones that have gone off and become bigger and better, like Flirty and Slims in Nashville now, Doms everywhere. And it's just, that is going to happen more and more often. I don't think people are going to get lazy. I think they're going to be driven, and it's just going to keep getting bigger.
And we agree with that. We keep saying boiling point. Like, I feel like there's so many people that are just like, they've got it, and it's just a matter of like the noticing, and that's why we do need oversaturation of media so that people can see what's going on.
That's how you build an empire. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so I had I just thought of a couple like top 3 questions, so I'm just gonna ask them and just get your first like snap judgment of like the top 3 answers. So the first thing I was wondering was the top 3 people or group of people who you think are like the next big thing, like people who you genuinely know are gonna make it big. Top 3.
Are you speaking
around here,
like musicians specifically, or like organizations?
Music specifically.
Music?
Whether it's like a person or a group. Just the top 3 that you can think, because there's many people around here who are gonna make it, but just the top 3 that come to your head.
The Kimberlys, Rocks Revolt and the Velvets, Valiant.
I was gonna say, if you don't say Valiant, that's on your shirt.
Yeah, I'm a diehard. Like, no, they're gonna make it, and I'm gonna go in their suitcase.
I agree with that. I don't really remember what my other top 3 question is, so you can get it, Danny. I'm gonna try to think on it. Wait, no, I remember. Okay, top 3. I'm sorry, Danny. Yeah,
So
okay,
aggressive.
how do I word this? Okay, top 3 most underrated ways to support local artists. 3 techniques that are way underrated.
I mean, people are starting to get better about it, but I feel like sharing your friends' stuff is a big thing that really helps. I mean, somebody, like the Set Life page has a little over 2,000 likes. On average, one post might reach a couple hundred of those people just because of how the algorithm works. But if you share it and Destiny and the whole Set Life team and, you know, a couple of my girlfriends share it, like, then my post has all of a sudden reached 4,000 people, and I'm just like, what? So sharing for sure.
100%. And from an artist perspective, I can say like that has directly helped me whenever like the right 2 people share it. There's like a handful from their friends list that messaged me to buy something, and I just made money because that one person shared it.
Inviting your friends to like people's pages. Like, it literally is just a simple one click. Like, people don't even have to leave their notifications anymore to like things. And so either not liking the post or not inviting your friends is just pure laziness. Like, it's so simple to do.
Because you can invite your whole friends list with one click.
Exactly.
You know, you don't even have to go through.
And I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, another number out there. But when you're trying to put together your EPK and you want to be like, look, see, this is the audience that I reached. Like, those numbers need to look good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Does that count as 2 and 3, or do I still have to come up with another one?
That can count as 2 and 3. That's a good answer. I thought you were gonna say checking in on Facebook.
Oh, yes. I'm a big believer in checking in on Facebook.
Or what about just events in general? Like whether it's creating the event if you're organizing it, or checking into the event when you get there, or RSVPing when you're planning on going, because all of that affects the algorithm, right?
Yeah, RSVP is going, not interested if you genuinely are going. I understand I put interested on a lot of things just because I try to save them in my calendar, but that's because I'm trying to, you know, write articles or make connections with certain things, but I can't always guarantee I'm going to go. But if you fucking can, or even if you can't, just RSVP is going. It helps. Share that event. Make sure whoever's putting the event together has a good fucking flyer.
Yeah, for real. That helps
some of the
too.
flyers are so trash.
But checking in is I think checking in is one of the most useful tools with events. Like when, you know, someone's scrolling through Facebook on a Friday night, not even in their PJs yet, and they see 7 of their friends just checked in at Rackham. They're like, well, I guess I gotta go put my shoes on. I know I've gone out because I'm like, oh shit, they're there. I gotta go. Like, that's the easiest way to influence people to come to an event.
True.
Let them know you're having a good time because nobody wants to be left out.
Oh, that's facts. That's slept on. You always tell me when we're at events, check in, and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a psychopath. I'll like work the door at events, and I'll be like putting bracelets on. I'm like, did you check in on Facebook yet? Like they just handed me the money, and I'm like, check in.
Yeah, I could see for sure, that especially in today's day and age, that especially with what you just said. Good point.
You want to talk about hashtag Make Your Friends Famous a little bit? That's a big topic.
I do, yeah. We've got that hung up behind on a beautiful board, thanks to some artist. I forget his name, but that doesn't matter. No, I'm playing. Thanks to Professor Shred.
He's somewhere around here.
Somewhere. He's downstairs in the warehouse.
But no, but that whole concept.
Warehouse manager. Yeah. Yeah, make your friends famous. Yeah, how did that start? Because that is like your, I'd say like Set Life's thing, I think. Right?
Honestly, I don't know the full origination to it. I noticed that Frankie Orion had used the hashtag a few years ago, and I thought it was super cute. So I used to use that hashtag anytime I would like brag about one of my friends before even Set Life was a thing. And I've just kind of like stuck with it, and it kind of became a big mantra for Set Life. Instead of trying to like tell somebody my whole mission statement and be like, yeah, this is the specifics, I can just be like, I'm just trying to make my friends famous. Like, I firmly believe in if you push the people around you. It's going to make them better. And then, yeah, they will get famous.
That's true. I could see it. I could see a merch drop selling out like crazy.
It's a goal of my life. I know. Yo. It's a goal of my entire life right now.
Yeah, and legit, I wanted to make like, just because I feel like we all share that same like mentality of make your friends famous. Like that's why we're doing everything that we do. And I wanted to make like just a basic like bumper sticker or something that just says straight up white sticker hashtag make your friends famous in black or vice versa.
Cool, yeah.
You know, just the simplest thing.
Positive thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And but I didn't have the funds, so instead I have old skateboards. Mm-hmm. So I guess I can just announce now. How do we want to do it? I painted the skateboard, and I want to sell them as like a little like ornament, you know, poster decoration sort of thing. And they're going to be on Set Life's website that you can buy in the shop there as well. You can subscribe to the zine there. I want you to touch on the website as a whole, anyways, but that's where you can get the boards. There'll be like prices and everything there. We'll probably announce it on actual social media a little bit more officially, but anyone listening, that's what hanging up behind her is going to be some sort of little merch that we can do with the funds that we have, you know? And I feel like it's neat. It's like a piece of art, you know?
Yeah, it's unique and authentic, and it's a hashtag for everyone. That's the thing. It's like, I want everyone to use that. I want everyone to make their friends famous. Yeah. Because, like, fuck this, like, only the elite being famous. We can all be famous.
Mm-hmm. But speaking on a website, I wanted to ask you, because we still don't have a website. Danny and I have been like, that's like every brand, that's the focal point of everything is your website, you know what I mean? And we just kind of like slept on it for a while. But you recently have a pretty solid website, and like even like, you know how sometimes the web version is all great and user friendly, and then you try it on mobile and it's like, I can't even click this button because it's not formatted or whatever. Yours, when I subscribed to the zines, I did it on my phone real quick, and it was so easy and so user friendly. You use WordPress, right?
Yeah. I'm still super new to WordPress. I'm not a little guru like Jessie Kaysen is. Her website is beautiful. It really is. And I just like hope to one day be like half as good at WordPress as she is. But I've wanted a website since day one. I feel like the only one of the main reasons why the zine ended up happening was because I didn't know how to make a website, and I kept trying and then hating everything and scrapping it. And I was like, well, I know I can make a newspaper, so let's try the zine. And then
that's crazy. I can't make a website. I'm gonna make a whole ass magazine. Make it fire too.
And it's still going. And I mean, I don't know if I wanted to talk about this on air, but you have faced some like serious difficulties through your, like, aside from just the normal like stresses of running a business, like you've just unforeseen things that have really set you back. Like most recently, your hard drive for your computer broke, and like the whole community, the whole internet kind of like came together to try to help Set Life, and it ended up working. You got a new hard drive, and you're back producing the zine and whatnot. Are there any difficulties that were like you look back on them as like, wow, I really went through that? It's from a business standpoint, not personal stuff. Like, what were some of the biggest difficulties with running Set Life?
I would say the hardest thing about Set Life is working with others, as weird as that sounds, because like obviously it's supposed to be a community thing, but it's not as easy as you would think to get like a team of 6 to 8 people to be dedicated to something when they've also got all of their own little projects, and you don't want to take away from that. So I think the biggest hurdle has been like me learning how to communicate better with my team and telling them what I genuinely like need from them, and getting that instead of just being like, oh, it's okay that you didn't do it, it's fine, I'll go do it myself. I'll go stay up till 4 a.m. and cry in the corner. I don't need you.
I feel like that's a problem a lot of people face, is like, as like from a manager perspective, trying to, whether you're in a restaurant or whatever, having that, because I used to be like that, to where it would be hard for me to delegate something because I would know that like they probably don't know how to do it that well, and it'd probably be easier if I just did it, and like that's my reasoning. But from their standpoint, like they want to help and they want to do more.
They just need guidance.
Yeah, and if you constantly, like I had that issue where I would constantly just like do things for people, and then other people, they would get mad kind of, or like they would be under equipped because I did those things. So it is a learning process to have to lead and delegate.
Yeah, pretty much the one and only fight Courtney and I have ever been in was over Set Life because I was extremely overwhelmed, but I wasn't communicating it with her. So then I just popped off on her, and I was like, "Why aren't you around?" And then she beat back at me and was like, "You gotta fucking communicate with me." And then I was like, you know what? You're right. I can't just like be an asshole just because I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to like not project my insecurities onto my team.
True. Yeah, and also like you said with the beginning too, and as far as just finding the people, it's hard to find someone with the same vision as you. So it's hard at the end of the day to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, did you edit that or whatever? Like, did you do that? Like, if you don't know like what their intentions are with like the end goal.
Exactly. And I think that's why Set Life has evolved a lot too, because I'm like, I can't put all of these people into a box or a mold of what I think's cool. Like, I got it. If it's going to be all about the community, it's got to really be about the community. And so, like, Cody is this little sound guru that we've got, and I know that he likes doing that. So I wanted to find ways where he can focus more on that than, like, trying to beg and pressure him to write articles all the time. Like, I'd much rather him focus on Southwest Florida Unplugged. While I've got people like Shay and Stevie who are way better at more of that office administrative stuff when I need help making phone calls because I get anxiety when I got to call the printer and ask if they can print something in 24 hours. Like, Stevie's my girl. And I've just like learned how to find things that they like and how we can incorporate that into Set Life. And I think that's why we're like starting to, you know, be successful as a group in a business.
That's cool. That's inspiring.
Building an empire for real.
Yeah, no, seriously,
Jesus.
seriously. I was telling him like right when we went on break, like I don't even know if this is like where you want to be, but I could see like when bands tour, like, you know, worldwide, like when they tour around here, like if they're like a worldwide band touring, I could see like them going to you, like you just being the first person like everyone knows like in this area to like, oh, we gotta hit up Set Life to like, can you get us a like, do you know where we could play? Do you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I
It's
could
kind
just
of already happening too, like on a local level. Like, there's lots of people who reach out and say like, hey, you have all these connections because of your years of doing all these different types of things. You know all these different types of people and bands and artists and this and that, and like in the experience you can share knowledge to people and stuff like that. And I agree with you. Like, I think that one day, and this is going to lead to my like one of my last questions for you. I feel like one day this area can be like something bigger, like Tampa or like Miami or like
that
100%.
yeah. And when it is to that point, then that'll be the time when like the like these people, not to like boast ourselves or whatever, but like people like us who are just genuinely trying to like do awesome, like get people to do awesome things and like support their awesome things that they're doing, that is going to make us the people that are like in it. We've been in it since the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And so like no matter how it evolves and develops, hopefully we can be here to kind of like keep it developing in the right way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm definitely not someone that thinks I'm like more important than I actually am, but I think there are a lot of us around here that are the foundation to where we're building up to be now. And I'm one of the, you know, newer groups around here. I mean, there's people like Frankie and Angela who've been doing this kind of stuff for years and years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been very fortunate where I've gotten to look up to Hal, look up to Frankie, see the way they do things, you know, watch Curate and how they've grown and evolved over the years. And I'm very lucky that I've had the opportunity to just like have real conversations with these people and understand how they've gotten the community to grow as far as they have, so I can see how I can help.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen a lot of different perspectives. You've been in a lot of different areas of the scene to where you like have a knowledge base that is really gonna go far. But my last question was gonna be, where do you, if things go according to how like you think would be most beneficial, where do you see the scene in this area in 10 years?
The scene as a whole, or Set Life involved in the scene?
The scene as a whole, you know?
I mean, 10 years is that's like 4 eras in the music scene. I feel like in the music communities, I mean, look at Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift, busting out albums every 2 or 3 years, and that's a whole new era. Like, we're going to go through another 3 eras in 10 years, but that third era is probably going to be badass. Like, if we're already popping out great music, we've got dope venues just like pulling up here and there, Palace, Ollie's, like, it's only going to be a matter of time before things get big, and I feel like in 10 years, we're definitely going to be, if not there, very close to it. And hopefully with a set life venue.
100%. And City Palm Skate Park.
Yeah.
Man, do you have any other like last questions or anything? Because we got quite a bit to plug, so whatever you want to ask.
Well, are we gonna get into? We got a paranormal thing.
Oh, we could ask that.
We ask every guest.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You ask it.
Okay.
Sure.
So you know our last segment is ghost stories / paranormal stories / any crazy unexplainable things you got that happened to you. Do you have any? Anything you think back on that you're just like, what the hell was that, and how did it happen?
I kind of, but not really. I have an overactive imagination to begin with, so I'm just like constantly spooked, and I'm like, oh nope, that's not real. But I'm very prone to getting sleep paralysis.
That's right.
And I definitely like remember as a kid, like, getting that feeling of somebody being over you. There was one time where I had a dream and then woke up into sleep paralysis, but in my dream, one of my younger brothers, he had a zombie costume, and the costume came to life and was like holding me down in my dream, and then I woke up in sleep paralysis, like still feeling like I was being held down, and I was just like, oh my god, this is real, I'm gonna die, this is how I go, and like I'm like, I can't scream, and my parents are right downstairs. But paranormal wise, not really. That, or I've just like blocked it out of my memory because that's traumatic.
Yeah, for real. Man, but as we get to a close, how do we organize this? I feel like we should give the mic to you first to plug things that are coming up, things that you currently have. We already touched on a lot, but like things that you want everyone to know that are coming up soon. Anything you want to plug, like the website, social medias, events, anything like that.
For sure, check out the website, setlifepro.com. You can join our mailing list. We keep a lot of exclusive interviews that don't even make it in the zine on the website, that are personal, and they're Set Life exclusives. Like, nobody's going to have the same content that we necessarily put in those interviews. Rock the Communities, second Friday in Cape Coral, third Saturday in St. Pete. You can find those on our website as well as Bombshell Botanical's website. Check out the Rock the Communities page for all of that information. And stay tuned for the next zine. It should be out as soon as I get my life together.
And then for us, we have the City of Palms anniversary show coming up, and we've already talked about it a little bit.
It'll be this weekend when this comes out?
No, we'll have one more episode after this one comes out. But the 28th of March, the end of this month, we're very excited. This is like kind of a culmination of everything. We've talked a lot on the podcast about how one of the best things about doing this is these connections we make and friendships we build and just like community that we're growing and being a part of. And it's like just it like warms my heart really to be meeting and connecting with all these cool people. And so with the anniversary show, we're trying to incorporate everything that we love about the local scene into this one event, and everyone involved we've met on the podcast, and they've sat in this chair and they've talked with us for hours. And I just feel like it's just going to be such an awesome event, really tight-knit group of people, and who've like helped us through this whole year, like whether it's just being on an episode or multiple episodes, or now they're in our DMs giving us advice on stuff. But so the 28th, it's going to be at Howl. Doors are at 8. We're starting the live podcast at right before 9. And it's just going to be a live podcast segment. We're going to have musical performances by Jay Saint, by Casey Parks, by Fame Fayella, by XMVIX, and by Rocks Revolt and the Velvets. There's going to be Darby Neal Art is vending. Favi Cakes is going to be there selling her desserts. We have Big Smoke Barbecue food truck going to be there. It's at Howl, so there's going to be the bar available for any of your alcohol needs, and it's going to be dope. We have multiple giveaways going on throughout the night. We're going to be giving away Howl gift certificates, Ace of Fades gift certificates, Southwest Florida merch from local brands, and City of Palms merch, and Professor Shred art. I'm going to be giving away a piece of art, so I'm excited.
So we would love to see everybody there. And it's crazy, though. Like, when we started the podcast, we said, like, we can't wait to do a live podcast. And, like, now to just be, like, a year in, we're doing a live podcast.
We're doing it.
For our first show,
It's
too.
going to be so good.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
crazy.
And thanks to you, honestly, like, you have really helped us kind of, like, get our foothold in, like, the scene as far as events and venues go. Like, I've really been able to look towards Set Life as an example of how to organize yourself to run these events. And because you do so much, for me, just organizing, like, one little thing, it feels like, well, that ain't so bad. But I feel like Brian 1 year ago would have saw that. I remember I got nervous going to Nice Guys. My first show ever was like a year and a half ago. First time ever going to a local show, and it was at Nice Guys. And I was just so nervous because I don't hang out at bars, so like I don't understand how to order at bars, and like it's just like not really my, like I'm not used to it. And so I got like such anxiety just going to Nice Guys. And it's funny that that's a year and a half ago, just like getting nervous going to a venue, when now I'm able to like organize an event.
Yeah, you're producing events.
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
it's just really, but we wouldn't have been able to do this. We wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for all these connections we made and awesome people we've met. And so yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And obviously, it feels weird giving you a handshake, but I give it, that's like the thing. Like, we give the guest a handshake, but genuinely thank you for coming on, because it has been long awaited, and I want people to know about everything you do.
Well, thanks for having me on. Sorry I'm an awkward turtle, but...
No, this was a great episode. Where can they find us at, bro?
They can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, at City of Palms Podcast, Apple, iTunes, Spotify. Watch us on YouTube, Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. That's the big thing. You guys got to subscribe.
Because we got full episodes. We got episode highlights. We've got raising the bar content.
Raising the bar content. Yeah, that we got to get more of. But we're working on it.
We got it. We got the show coming up. It's all good.
And the first one got good feedback too. People are loving it, dude. Lutz and ID came in, did their thing. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. New podcast up every Monday. This has been episode 53. Hit him with that outro, and Soren.